second one is Plato. Give a heading, Plato. Drop your pen. Look here. Obviously, Plato is the disciple of the great Socrates. No other philosopher in the entire world is read as much as Plato is read. इनसे ज़्यादा रिसर्च किसी के बारे में नहीं हुई है पूरे दुनिया में, किसी भी स्कूल ऑफ फिलॉसफी में चले जाओ. So Plato is the most studied scholar of all time. This is one thing that you have to keep in mind. Okay, Plato is the founder of academy. This is the first school of philosophy, modern school of philosophy in the strict sense of the term in the Western world. Like what Nalanda was to India, academy was to Greece. And the school of philosophy that emerged in academy came to be known as Platoism. Sometimes it is also referred to as Platonic philosophical school or Platonic philosophical stream, कुछ भी बोलते हैं इसको, ठीक है. कई बार ऐसा भी होता है that we have a division called pre-Platonic and Platonic because Plato is the most studied. So Plato has a very simple argument. He says that if you want to live a good life, then you have to have virtues in your character. You have to be virtuous. That's the only way to live a good life. And he says that there are a number of virtues that you must accumulate. Remember, virtues are acquired dispositions which can be cultivated over a period of time. It is not something which is ingrained in you or transmitted to you, say, genetically. So virtues are something which you acquire throughout your lifetime by making your own efforts. So Plato says कि आपको virtues तो अपने अंदर लाने ही होंगे. 4 virtues he highlights. He says that these 4 virtues are the cardinal virtues. If you cannot stick to these 4 virtues, then your moral existence will become void. That's why it is important for you to hold on to these 4 virtues. And what are they? This is what Plato highlights. First is prudence. Second is fortitude. Then temperance. And the 4th one is justice. What are these things? Let's have a look at them one by one. Prudence is drawn from the Latin expression prudentia. Prudentia roughly translates into wisdom. It's actually the ability to discern between what is right and what is wrong and what course of action should be followed under a given situation. That is wisdom. Do you understand that? Wisdom is to differentiate between what is right, what is wrong, and then to follow the right course of action under a given situation. That is wisdom. Got it? This is one way to define wisdom, but not the only way to define wisdom. The word fortitude is also drawn from a Latin expression fortitudo, which means courage. How do you define courage? Courage is to stand your moral ground when you are faced with challenges, intimidation, uncertainty. Courage is endurance and forbearance, that you are not going to give up. आप नहीं छोड़ने वाले अपने वैल्यू सेट को. That requires courage. In fact, courage is that glue which attracts other virtues. In order to uphold justice also, first you have to be courageous. Then only you can uphold justice. Do you get it? So fortitude or courage is the second cardinal virtue. Third is temperance. Temperance drawn from the Latin temperantia, which means self-control. Self-control, or you can say moderation, or what we sometimes say sound-mindedness. A person who would have self-control will always respond. A person who lacks it will react. You understand that? So when you are getting responses, it means you are dealing with a person with self-control. We always lose our control, right? There is nobody in this hall or attending online or in this entire planet who has not lost self-control. Like say for example, how many of you know how to ride a bicycle? Raise your hands. साइकिल चलाना कितने को आता है? अच्छा चलो बहुतों को आता है साइकिल चलाना, ठीक है. Have you ever lost your balance in the cycle while you were a child or something? कभी हुआ है ऐसा? होता ही है. बाइक चलाया होगा तो उसमें भी गया होगा, कार में भी गया होगा, तो जहाँ चलते चलते भी गया होगा, है ना? So it means losing control is not a crime, but how quickly you gain control. That is your moral resilience. समझ में है? Once you are deviated from the moral path, how quickly you jump back to the right trajectory. The lesser the time, greater is the resilience. जैसे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की रेजिलियंस होती है ना अर्थक्वेक आने के बाद, वैसे हमारे मॉरल एग्जिस्टेंस की भी रेजिलियंस होती है. यू गेट इट? सो व्हाट इज टेम्परेंस or what is self-control? Self-control is moderation. A person who would not be impulsive in his behavior, a person who would not react but respond, that is self-control. Do you understand that? And in order to have self-control also, you require some prudence, isn't it? If you are not wise, you will never have self-control. In fact, by having self-control over a period of time, you may become wise. There is causation flowing both ways. Then comes the last one, justice, favorite of every society, drawn from the Latin expression justus. Popular notion of justice is to give everybody their due share and be truthful. Okay? Be truthful and give everybody their due share. That is justice. Okay? That's the popular notion of justice. It means, okay, you tell me one thing. When you pay back your debts, you are just, or when you don't pay back your debts, you are just. When are you just? When you pay back your liabilities, you are just. Do you agree with me on that? When you are truthful, you are just. Do you agree on that? It means one who has given you the loan or one who has given you the debt, that person now has a due right to get his share back, which is principal plus interest. That's why repaying the debt is just. Agree? Say agreed or disagree? Agree? Okay. Now look here. Let's try to chalk out here a kind of situation. Think of this. There is a man and he is friends with another person. Both of these people are very good friends. Let's call them A and B. Now B is a very sane person, so is A. B one day purchased some deadly weapons, the deadliest of all weapons, and he could not keep it with him. That's why he said that, please A, take care of these weapons, keep it in your home, and whenever I will ask for it, you pay me back. Okay. Now B one day was going down a road and B had a kind of alteraction with D, who was going on the other side. This alteraction turned into an ugly fight, and B, who is otherwise sane, goes insane, loses his mind, says, रुक यहीं पे बताता हूं मैं तेरे, rushes back to A and tells him, give me the weapons. Give me the weapons that I submitted to you. Now, should A give him the weapons? Should A give him the weapons? But is A not only the caretaker of the weapons? And one who is taking care of the weapons, if the caretaker says that I will not hand it over, it means he is not giving the share to the person to whom the asset belongs. It's like you going to a saving bank account and asking for your own money and the banker says, well, I'm not going to give it. It means giving everybody their due share all the time is not just. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? I'm just shaking you philosophically so that you can reach to a higher philosophical plane. So justice is definitely not that. Okay. And why A is not handling the weapons to B? Because A knows that B has gone insane. Do you understand that? So telling on his face that you are insane right now, insanity has taken over you, will not be of any help, because this might further infuriate B. He might get further angry on A himself also. That's why telling the truth all the time is also not just. Giving everybody their due share and telling the truth might not always be just. Do you get that? Some people feel justice is like helping the friends and hurting the enemies. That is justice. Like say for example, two countries who are friends, and suppose another third country attacks one of those countries, the other country comes to its aid because you want to help the friend and hurt the enemy, common enemy. All the geopolitical associations like NATO and all are built on this principle of justice. Justice is helping the friend, hurting the enemy. That's justice. Do you understand that? Now the larger question looms here is that, is hurting always good? And the friend that you have made for yourself, is it based on the principles of justice or it is based on self-interest? Like say for example, geopolitical equations, they can be purely based on self-interest. We all know China, what it is doing to the religious minorities, right? Everybody knows what is happening to the Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang province, right? What are the kind of atrocities that China is committing over them? Just to give you a small list of what has come out in public through various agencies that have worked on it. They cannot hold their religious ceremonies in public. They cannot build their religious structures. Even fasting on Ramadan is strictly prohibited. Only as per Chinese officials, they give order, that's it. Even the name Muhammad is banned. आप सोच के देखो इससे ज़्यादा और क्या हो सकता है atrocity. But what is happening to Pakistan when it is dealing with China? See, it maintains a complete deafening silence on it. Do you understand that? So when Pakistan talks all the time about the atrocities that are being committed elsewhere in the world, why it is so deaf about the atrocities that are being committed to the Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang? India has taken stance on this. India has raised the issue. Do you understand that? And what about the Ahmadiyas, the Hazara Shias, that they are facing atrocities in Pakistan? Pakistan also not bothered about that as well. तो आप बता सकते हो यहाँ पर कि कई बार जो फ्रेंडशिप्स होती हैं उसमें कुछ अपना सेल्फिश इंटरेस्ट होता है. It's not always that they will stand for just one who stands for justice will stand for everybody. Isn't it? Say yes or no to that. Yes. वो तो pick choose नहीं करेगा ना. On the basis of religion or on the basis of caste or on the basis of color, then you are not standing for justice. Then there is some ulterior motive that you have. Do you understand that? That's why you see one who is just will be just with everybody. That is justice. Do you understand that? So finding out friends itself is very challenging. So this itself can be challenged, that who are your friends? Actually this friendship is just or not? And harming your enemies, is that always just? Harming, how can it be good to anybody? Do you understand that? Sometimes there is preemptive strikes. Are you aware about preemptive strikes? मतलब कुछ हुआ नहीं है, but you take strikes as a preemptive measure कि कुछ हो ना जाए. Do you get it? And this can happen. And who decides who are friends and who are enemy? When you give such a kind of narrow definition of justice, that justice is helping friends and hurting enemies, it divides the society into different kind of silos, like us versus they, we versus them. Do you understand that? That is not good for any multicultural society like India, say for example. Do you get it? And what is justice? Very difficult to define. That's the answer. What is justice? Very difficult to define. But one crude definition of justice I can give you. Justice is doing the right thing at the right time to the right person in the right way in the right amount. That is justice.